My beloved child, tonight a veil is thinning, and Archangel Michael is stepping closer than he has all year. He is whispering a message that carries the vibration of urgency and divine anticipation. He says a New Year's Eve transformation is being prepared for you, something you have prayed for, cried for, waited for, and nearly gave up on. And he wants you to hear this before the clock shifts, because the final moments hold the miracle you've been hoping for. He shows me a vision of you standing at the edge of a doorway that has not yet opened, but the hinges are moving. The light behind that door is brighter than anything you have seen this year. And Archangel Michael says, "Tell them this. What was delayed is aligning. What was hidden is surfacing. What was blocked is breaking open." You are not imagining the spiritual pressure you felt recently. The heaviness, the strange dreams, the sudden silence from certain people, the unexpected emotional waves. These were not random. They were indicators that the spiritual realm has been rearranging your path. Michael reveals that as the year closes, heaven has begun resetting your timeline, preparing a transformation that will shift your identity, your relationships, your finances, and even your internal strength. And he says something even more stunning. They think nothing is changing, but the change has already begun underneath their feet. There is a spiritual countdown over your life right now. You cannot see the numbers, but Archangel Michael can. And he says the miracle arrives in the final moments, not when you are watching closer, but when heaven's timing meets your readiness. Listen carefully, because this next part is crucial. Archangel Michael reveals that someone or something has been draining your spiritual energy without your awareness. A thought pattern, a fear, a person, or a memory that keeps looping back when you try to move forward. This is why your spirit has felt both tired and restless. This is why you keep feeling called to release something, but you can't fully understand what. Michael is stepping into this cycle to cut the last spiritual rope holding you to an expired season. But here is the twist. Your breakthrough is not coming through that release. Your breakthrough is coming after it. He says, "Tell them not to fear the ending, for the ending is the sign that the doorway is about to open. Something in your life is in its final chapter, and the closer you get to New Year's Eve, the more obvious it will become. A shift in someone's behavior, a sudden clarity, a sign, a repeated message, a separation from what can no longer go with you into the new timing. At the same time, heaven is aligning a blessing that carries your name on it, not someone else's, not a replacement, not a distraction, but something originally written for your destiny. A divine orchestration that has taken months to align in your favor. Archangel Michael is guarding this blessing personally. I see his sword drawn, not in warfare this time, but in protection. He stands over your life like a shield, blocking anything that would interfere with this New Year's Eve transformation. He says they must know this. What is coming is not small. It is not symbolic. It is not just a new year, new me moment. It is a prophetic reset that heaven scheduled long before they even felt the desire for change. The angels have been preparing your atmosphere. They have been clearing spiritual debris around you. They have been softening your heart, strengthening your intuition, sharpening your awareness, and guiding your steps even when you didn't realize it. This is why certain opportunities fell apart. This is why certain people pulled away. This is why certain emotions resurfaced. This is why certain things stopped making sense. All of it is strategic. All of it is preparation. All of it is divine timing pulling you toward your transformation. And Michael Lance, tell them this miracle is not meant to be chased. It is meant to be received. If you are hearing this message, he says it is because your spirit is already in alignment, even if your mind is still catching up. even if your circumstances look unchanged, even if you feel unprepared. Heaven is prepared for you. But there is one more thing he is urging you to understand as the year closes. Distractions will rise. Doubts will whisper. Old patterns will try to pull you back. Archangel Michael says this is the enemy's last attempt to keep you tied to an expired timeline. But he also says you will win this time, because angelic assistance is stronger around you now than ever before. Before you scroll away, pause for a moment, because what Michael wants to reveal next will help you recognize the exact sign that shows your transformation has already begun. You'll thank yourself for staying with this message. Type "I welcome my transformation" in the comments if this is speaking to your spirit. Blessing code 2099 has just been released. Precious soul, something subtle yet powerful is shifting around you even now, and Archangel Michael is urging you to become aware of it before the next wave of change arrives. He shows me a moment in your recent past where you felt a sudden pause inside your spirit, as if time slowed for a second and your heart sensed something important was coming. That moment was not random. It was heaven attempting to synchronize your inner world with the divine timing that is now unfolding. Michael says that your spirit has already stepped into the new season, even though your surroundings still look like the old one. He wants you to understand this distinction, because the transformation you are approaching is not an external event alone. It is a spiritual transition that begins deep within you before it manifests around you. He reveals a vision of you standing in a room filled with old memories, old emotions, and old beliefs that were once necessary for your survival. But Michael says these things have now become too small for the person you are becoming. You have outgrown versions of yourself that you once depended on. You have stretched past the limitations that used to define how you thought, how you loved, how you reacted, and even how you prayed. And the reason this transformation feels intense is because heaven is not merely adjusting your path, it is upgrading your identity. Michael's voice becomes firm yet gentle as he says, "Tell them they are being prepared to step into rooms they once feared, to receive blessings they once questioned, and to carry authority they once believed belonged to others." This transformation is emotional. It is spiritual. It is mental. It is relational. Heaven is not doing a surface-level reset. Heaven is rebuilding your foundation. This is why you have felt waves of clarity followed by waves of confusion. This is why you have felt moments of strong faith followed by sudden vulnerability. This is why you have felt ready for change one day and overwhelmed by it the next. These fluctuations are not signs of instability. They are signs of spiritual expansion. Michael explains that when a soul expands beyond its old boundaries, the mind struggles to catch up. The heart feels the shift first. The spirit knows the shift is coming. The body senses the shift approaching. But the mind tries to test it, examine it, question it, and understand it. Be patient with yourself during this transition. Michael says something deeply comforting here. Their spirit is wiser than their mind right now. Your spirit has already said yes to heaven's timing. This means you do not need to have everything figured out to walk into your breakthrough. You simply need to stay open, stay aware, and stay aligned. Your transformation does not require perfection. It requires willingness. Heaven responds to willingness more than strength, more than certainty, more than understanding. What matters is that you are willing to release what no longer fits your destiny. And this is where Michael shows me a very specific sign that your New Year's Eve transformation is already in motion. He shows me you notice a shift in your emotional patterns. Something or someone that once triggered you no longer has the same effect. A fear that once controlled you suddenly feels lighter. A memory that once hurt you no longer stings in the same way. This softening is not accidental. It is evidence that the chains are loosening. It is evidence that angelic intervention has already begun healing your heart. It is evidence that your readiness is growing even when you do not consciously feel prepared. Michael also reveals that in the days leading up to your transformation, you will feel moments of unexpected stillness. Not emptiness, not sadness, but a quiet pause inside your soul. This stillness is heaven clearing space for what is coming. When a blessing is large, the Spirit must first make room for it. This is why certain connections may feel distant, why certain desires may shift, why certain plans may dissolve, and why certain relationships may reveal their true nature. It is not rejection. It is preparation. Heaven removes what cannot carry you into the next level. He shows me a message that is crucial for you to hear. Do not fear the unfamiliar feeling inside you right now. That feeling is the doorway opening. When destiny begins to shift, the first sign is often a subtle sense that something in your life no longer matches the person you are becoming. What once felt normal now feels tight. What once felt comforting now feels limiting. What once felt aligned now feels slightly out of place. This is how heaven nudges your soul forward, not with force, but with gentle misalignment that guides you toward the next chapter. But here is the most important revelation in this part. Michael says the transformation coming on New Year's Eve is not waiting for the clock to strike 12. It has already begun. The spiritual countdown started the moment your spirit whispered the desire for something greater. Heaven heard you instantly, and now heaven is responding. What you will feel at the end of the year is not the beginning of your breakthrough. It is the visible confirmation of what hath been happening behind the scenes. Before you move on, take a breath. Let your spirit stay open. The next message Michael wants to reveal contains a sign that will confirm your breakthrough with stunning clarity. Hold on, because what comes next will connect everything you've been sensing. Type "I align with heaven's timing" in the comments if this part resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 4417 is now released. Beloved heart, Archangel Michael is drawing even closer now, lifting the veil between what you can see and what has been happening in the invisible realms on your behalf. He reveals that you have been walking through a spiritual corridor without realizing it, a narrow passage where heaven has been stripping away everything that cannot follow you into your breakthrough. This corridor has felt like pressure, uncertainty, emotional highs and lows, and sudden moments of clarity that vanished as quickly as they appeared. But Michael says none of it was chaos. It was alignment. It was preparation. It was heaven adjusting your frequency so you can receive what you have been praying for with strength, stability, and spiritual maturity. He shows me a symbolic image. A clock suspended in the air, frozen between 2 seconds. This represents the moment you are living right now, the space between what has been and what will soon arrive. You are standing in the threshold of transformation, and heaven is preparing to release something into your life that carries the weight of divine intention. Michael says, they have not been waiting for the miracle. The miracle had been waiting for them. This means your blessing was ready long before you felt ready to receive it. But heaven needed you to grow into the version of yourself who would not settle for less, who would not cling to the past, who would not shrink when the new season required courage. Michael begins to speak about the root of your transformation, and his voice carries both authority and tenderness. He says the reason your breakthrough is arriving at this specific time is because your heart has finally reached the point where it can hold the magnitude of what heaven wants to give. You have endured emotional storms that strengthen your resilience. You have walked through disappointments that made you wiser. You have survived seasons of loneliness that taught you to stand without depending on unstable foundations. Every lesson, every loss, every delay, every painful pruning was shaping you for the moment you are now approaching. Heaven is intentional, And Michael wants you to see that your New Year's Eve transformation is not simply a blessing arriving at the end of the year. It is the culmination of everything you have overcome. This is not reward. It is restoration. It is the returning of what was stolen, what was broken, what was delayed, what was denied, and what was taken before his time. Michael says, tell them this is not a small shift. This is a turning of the entire page of their destiny. He then reveals a sign that will appear when your breakthrough is extremely close. You will notice a moment of emotional detachment from something that used to feel heavy. It may be a person, a memory, a fear, a situation, or even an expectation you placed on yourself. Suddenly, the emotional weight of it will drop. You will feel a strange peace surrounding something that once consumed your thoughts. This is not numbness. This is closure. It is heaven removing your energy from anything that no longer aligns with where you are going. When this happens, Michael says the miracle is already at your door. He also reveals that in the days ahead, you will feel guided to make a small but significant shift. It may be organizing a space, releasing an old object, changing a routine, setting a boundary, or speaking a truth you've been holding inside. Do not underestimate these impulses. They are the final alignments before your transformation fully anchors into your life. Michael says, the physical world will reflect the spiritual shift. Watch what your spirit leads you to change. And here is the revelation that may surprise you. The blessing you are about to receive is not simply an answer to prayer. It is a new identity. You will begin to think differently, see differently, choose differently, love differently, speak differently, and expect differently. Your confidence will rise without effort. Your intuition will sharpen. Your peace will stabilize. Your vision for the future will expand. You will not enter the new year as the same person who walked through the old one. Transformation will not just surround you, it will enter you. Michael says, tell them to breathe. Tell them to trust. Tell them the final moments will reveal everything. As the clock moves toward the shift, heaven will begin arranging divine timing, divine encounters, divine insights, and divine protection around you. Angels have already been dispatched. The atmosphere around your life is becoming saturated with spiritual activity. You may feel it as tingles, warmth, vivid dreams, heightened sensitivity, or an inner knowing that something is approaching. This is not imagination. This is confirmation. Before we move forward, pause for a moment and let your spirit remain open. What Michael wants to reveal next will expose a hidden blessing you did not even realize was part of your destiny. Hold on, because the next revelation carries the deepest layer of your transformation. Type "I step into my NEW beginning" in the comments if this message is speaking into your spirit. Blessing code 5521 is now active. Like, share, comment, and subscribe so this prophetic message can reach the ones who need it most. Your engagement pushes this mission into the lives of those who are crying out for clarity and hope. There is a divine stirring happening in this moment, and if your spirit is sensing it, understand this truth. When you support this mission, you are not helping a platform. You are helping heaven reach souls who are standing on the edge of their breakthrough. The words spoken in these messages carry the light of God, and that light travels farther when you choose to sow into it. Michael is reminding you that every seed released into a divine assignment multiplies back into your own life. I hear the Spirit say, this is the moment I am calling you to stand with the work that is delivering my message across the nations. Because just as this New Year's Eve transformation is being prepared for you, there are countless others who will be awakened through your obedience. When you give through Super Thanks membership, or the PayPal link in the description, you ignite a ripple of restoration in lives you may never meet. yet heaven records every act. I declare blessing over every seed, over every giver, over every heart moved by God in this moment. Step boldly, for heaven honors those who respond to its call. Dearest one, Archangel Michael is drawing the curtain back on another layer of truth, and this part of the message enters a territory many overlook. He reveals that every major transformation in your life begins first as a disturbance in the spirit, a quiet shaking that only those attuned to divine frequency can feel. You have sensed the shaking recently. You have felt your emotions shifting, your desires changing, your intuition sharpening, and your priorities rearranging themselves. You may have wondered why familiar things now feel unfamiliar, why safe spaces feel too small, and why your heart has been craving something deeper, purer, and more aligned. Michael says these sensations are not signs of restlessness. They are signs of rebirth. Heaven has been preparing you for this New Year's Eve transformation by slowly loosening your attachments to what once held you. Michael shows me a vision of your spirit like a bird standing on a branch that has begun to crack beneath its feet. Not because the branch is breaking, but because you were never meant to stay perched there forever. The branch represents an old season, an old mindset, an old relationship, an old routine, or an old identity that served you once, but cannot serve the version of you stepping forward. The cracking sound you feel internally is heaven urging you forward, telling you it is time to fly into the new chapter already written with your name woven into its foundation. Michael speaks again, and his words carry the authority of a commander and the gentleness of a guardian. He says, "Tell them they are not losing themselves. They are meeting the version of themselves I have been guiding them toward. You are not falling apart. You are unfolding. Your spirit is expanding beyond the limits of what once defined you. Even the confusion you have felt recently is part of this process, because confusion often appears when your spirit knows something your mind has not yet processed. You are shifting dimensions internally, and this shift will soon become visible externally. This next revelation is one Michael wants you to hear with complete stillness. He says the struggle you have faced this year was not a punishment. It was a purification, a stripping away of illusions, false hopes, and emotional clutter so that your spirit could rise without anchors. He shows me that certain disappointments were actually rescues, certain delays were divine shields, and certain endings were heaven's way of releasing you from spiritual entanglements that would have sabotaged your breakthrough had they continued into the news cycle. There is something profound he reveals next. He shows me a divine ledger, a spiritual record of everything you have endured this year. Every tear, every silent battle, every decision to keep going when you felt you had nothing left. Every moment you chose faith over fear even when the outcome was uncertain. He says heaven counted all of it, and none of it was wasted. Your resilience has been an offering. Your perseverance has been a declaration. Your hope has been a seed planted into the soil of destiny. And now the soil is producing a harvest. Michael then points toward the doorway of your New Year's Eve transformation, and the energy around it is almost blinding, full of light, warmth, and divine movement. He says the transformation coming for you is not simply a seasonal shift, it is a spiritual elevation. Heaven is not giving you a new chapter. Heaven is giving you a new level. This elevation will influence the way you speak, the way you think, the way you trust, and the way you move through challenges. You will no longer respond to life from a place of fear or scarcity. You will respond from a place of authority and peace. This is why the spiritual pressure has been so intense, because the elevation you are stepping into requires a stronger spiritual foundation. He shows me an important sign that you may notice soon. There will be a moment where something unexpected becomes clear. A sudden knowing. A sudden release. a sudden insight, a sudden shift in how you view a situation or person. This moment of clarity is the signal that the spiritual countdown to your breakthrough is entering its final phase. When this sign appears, Michael says, tell them they are standing seconds away from what they thought would take years. Another revelation emerges, and it carries deep emotional weight. Michael reveals that someone in your life, whether currently present or from your past, has been influencing your emotions more than you realize. Their words, their energy, or their absence has echoed inside your spirit for too long. Heaven is intervening in this emotional entanglement. Michael is cutting cords with divine precision, freeing your soul from emotional cycles that have drained you without your awareness. Once this spiritual release completes, you will feel lighter, clearer, more grounded, and more connected to your purpose than you have in a very long time. There is a moment of silence from Michael, and then he says something that will resonate deeply. Tell them the version of themselves they are about to meet will feel like coming home. You are returning to your true identity. You are returning to your power. You are returning to your destiny. This transformation is not creating a new you. It is revealing the you that has always been waiting beneath layers of survival, expectation, and fear. Before the next revelation unfolds, let your heart stay anchored. What comes next will show you the spiritual mechanism behind your breakthrough, the hidden force that has been positioning every detail of your life. Type "My spirit is ready" in the comments if this message is touching your inner truth. Lesson code 8844 is now activated. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now steps forward with deeper clarity, illuminating the spiritual architecture behind your New Year's Eve transformation. He wants you to understand not just that a breakthrough is coming, but why it is coming now, and what has been moving beneath the surface to orchestrate this moment. The realm of spirit has been active around you in ways you could not see, yet you felt the effects of this unseen movement through intuition, sudden shifts in energy, and an unexplainable awareness that something significant was approaching. Michael reveals that heaven has been reshaping the trajectory of your life with precision, arranging divine timing like pieces of a sacred puzzle that have finally aligned. He shows me a timeline suspended in light, with certain moments highlighted, moments when you made a choice that seemed small but shifted your future dramatically. These decisions were not accidental. They were guided. Every time you listened to your intuition, every time you walked away from something that no longer resonated, every time you chose truth over comfort, you were stepping closer to this divinely scheduled transformation. Even in the moments you felt unsure of yourself, heaven was sure of you. Michael says, tell them they have been more obedient than they realize. This obedience was not in perfect actions, but in your willingness to keep moving forward even when the path was unclear. Heaven hath been preparing you for this elevation through a spiritual recalibration. Michael shows me how your internal frequency has been rising, slowly detaching you from the density of old cycles. This is why certain environments feel draining now, why some people's energy feels heavier than before, and why your spirit feels an urge to separate from anything that disrupts your peace. Your sensitivity has increased because your spirit is being refined. You are being lifted into a higher spiritual atmosphere, and the things that once matched your energy can no longer align with you. This shift is not rejection but ascension. Michael reveals another layer. The emotional turbulence you have experienced recently was part of your spirit shedding old agreements. Agreements with fear, self-doubt, unworthy expectations, limiting beliefs, and cycles of delay. These agreements were not consciously made, yet they were formed through repeated experiences that shaped how you saw yourself. Heaven is breaking these agreements now because they cannot coexist with the identity you are stepping into. Your transformation requires a clean spiritual field, and Michael has been clearing that field with his sword, removing spiritual residue you did not even know you were carrying. Heaven has also been positioning certain individuals around you. You may have noticed that new connections feel unusually meaningful, while old connections feel strangely distant or out of place. Michael says this is divine placement. People whose assignments have expired are being gently moved out of your path, and those who carry spiritual alignment with your next chapter are being drawn closer. You are not losing people, you are being repositioned among those who match your evolution. Then Michael reveals a profound truth about your breakthrough. It is not coming to you. It is coming from you. This transformation is emerging from the depths of your spirit, from the layers of strength you developed this year, from the clarity you gained through hardship, and from the courage you discovered in moments of darkness. Heaven is amplifying what is already within you. Michael says, tell them their destiny has always been inside them, waiting for the moment their spirit said yes. Your yes has already been spoken, even if you never said it out loud. Your resilience was your yes. Your hope was your yes. Your determination was your yes. Michael then gives a stunning revelation. You are entering a season where manifestation will accelerate in your life. What once took months will happen in weeks. What once required effort will come with ease. What once felt blocked will suddenly open. He says your atmosphere is shifting and heaven is aligning circumstances to match your elevated spiritual frequency. This acceleration is not random. It is a sign that your spirit has entered divine flow. You will begin to attract opportunities, clarity, ideas, solutions, and connections with a speed that surprises even you. The path that felt slow will become smooth, and the weight that felt heavy will lift effortlessly. Heaven is also preparing a moment of recognition for you, a moment when something you have been overlooked for, forgotten in, or underestimated within will finally be acknowledged. This recognition may come through a message, an invitation, an opportunity, or a person who sees your value clearly. Michael says this moment is not about validation, but alignment. Heaven is placing you where you were always meant to stand. Here is another sign he wants you to watch for. You will soon experience a sudden release of clarity regarding a decision you have been struggling with. This clarity will not come through logical thinking, but through a quiet, peaceful knowing that settles into your spirit. When this knowing arrives, trust it. It is the voice of heaven guiding you into the next phase of your transformation. Michael ends this part with a powerful assurance. Tell them the miracle approaching them will not be fragile. It will be anchored and will be protected. It will be theirs. But his coming is not temporary. It is foundational. It is meant to last. Hold steady. What Michael reveals next will expose the hidden spiritual opposition that tried to delay your breakthrough and why it failed. Type "My breakthrough is already moving" in the comments if your spirit is receiving this. Blessing code 3302 has now been activated. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now guides us into a deeper revelation, one that unveils a dimension of your journey that has remained hidden until this very moment. He shows me the spiritual resistance you have faced this year, not as a force that succeeded, but as a force that tried and ultimately failed. There were battles you did not see, conflicts fought on your behalf in realms beyond your awareness, moments where heaven intervened before danger ever reached you. Michael says, tell them they survived warfare they never even felt, because I shielded them before the attack began. This truth alone reveals the magnitude of the transformation coming to you. Anything heaven protects this fiercely is destined to emerge with purpose. You may have wondered why certain seasons felt heavy, why certain obstacles seemed to appear out of nowhere, or why certain relationships suddenly shifted. Michael reveals that this resistance was not punishment. It was a sign of the spiritual value of your destiny. Those who carry small callings face small opposition. Those who carry powerful purpose encounter deeper resistance. But you must hear this clearly. The resistance did not delay your breakthrough. It refined it. It sharpened you. It strengthened you. It matured your spirit so that when your blessing arrives, you will hold it firmly and confidently rather than fearfully or timidly. Michael shows me a moment earlier this year where you felt inexplicably discouraged, as if a weight settled on your chest for no clear reason. You may have blamed yourself for feeling weak or unmotivated, but he says that moment was a spiritual pushback. Darkness attempted to cloud your vision and dim your hope because the enemy sensed the spiritual elevation approaching you long before you sensed it yourself. But heaven intervened. Angels surrounded you. A shift occurred in your atmosphere, lifting the heaviness before it could take root. This was not coincidence. This was divine warfare on your behalf. He reveals that one of the greatest battles fought for you this year involved your mind. Thoughts of discouragement, doubt, confusion, and fear did not originate within you. They were whispers meant to distort your perception and weaken your faith. But your spirit resisted. Even when your thoughts wavered, your spirit stood firm. Michael says, their spirit is stronger than their circumstances, and they need to know this. Every time you felt exhausted yet kept going, every time you felt uncertain yet refused to quit, every time you felt alone yet held on to hope, your spirit was winning spiritual battles without you even realizing it. Another layer of opposition came through delays, which were designed to frustrate you and make you question whether your prayers were being heard. But Michael reveals that what looked like delay was actually divine redirection. Heaven blocked paths that would have led to disappointment, heartbreak, or stagnation. Heaven extended time so that certain truths could be revealed before you stepped into your next season. Heaven slowed certain processes so that you would not enter your breakthrough with the wrong people, the wrong expectations, or the wrong emotional burdens. Everything that seemed slow was actually strategic. Heaven also protected you from a connection that would have drained your future. Michael shows me a figure who once seemed important to your heart or journey, someone you may have trusted or hoped would walk with you. He says this person carried energy that would have entangled you, slowed your growth, or distracted you from your divine assignment. Their distance was engineered by heaven, even if it felt confusing or painful. Mitchell assures you what left you was not meant for your elevation. What stays will align with your calling. The separation was not loss. It was protection. Michael reveals something even more powerful. Every spiritual attack you faced this year has now expired. Heaven has terminated access. The enemy's permissions have been revoked. The cycle that once tried to repeat itself can no longer reach you. He says, tell them the season of interference is over. A new hedge of protection surrounds you, a stronger one than before, because heaven shields those who are about to step into destiny-shifting blessings. There is a profound spiritual law at work now. Whenever heaven closes a season of warfare, it immediately opens a season of restoration. This means everything that drained you will be replenished. Everything that confused you will become clear. Everything that felt taken will return multiplied. Everything that felt broken will be reforged. Michael says heaven has initiated a period of divine compensation in your life. You will not enter your New Year's Eve transformation with emptiness. You will enter it with overflow. He then reveals a specific sign that the spiritual resistance has ended. You will soon feel a deep, unusual calm settle over your spirit. Not the calm of avoidance, but the calm of victory. You may wake up one morning feeling lighter, clearer, or unexpectedly hopeful. You may notice your mind becoming sharper, your emotions stabilizing, or your intuition getting louder. This peace is not random. It is the peace that arrives when spiritual warfare concludes. It is the peace that signals the beginning of your miracle's manifestation. Michael also tells me that your dreams may shift. Where there was confusion, clarity will emerge. Where there was darkness, light will appear. Where there was silence, messages will flow. Angels will speak to you more clearly because the interference is gone. The channel is open. Heaven's voice will reach you with greater ease. He asks me to tell you something deeply comforting. They are stepping into a chapter where they will no longer fight for every blessing. Blessings will come to them. You have earned this ease. You have earned this grace. Your spirit is aligned, your atmosphere is protected, and your path is open. What comes next will arrive smoothly, without resistance, without fear, and without delay. Before we move forward, breathe deeply and prepare your spirit. The revelation Michael wants to give next will unveil the hidden blessing that has been forming behind every struggle you faced this year. Type "I receive my divine victory" in the comments if this resonates within you. Blessing code 7746 is now released. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now opens a chapter of revelation that touches the deepest part of your journey. He shows me that beneath every hardship you faced this year, beneath the confusion, beneath the disappointment, beneath the unanswered questions, there has been a hidden blessing forming quietly, steadily, and deliberately. This blessing did not appear suddenly. It has been building inside the unseen realm for months, seeded by your tears, watered by your faith, and activated by your resilience. Michael says, "Tell them what looked like loss was laying the foundation for gain." You did not walk through any storm aimlessly. Heaven was shaping something behind every moment that challenged you. Michael reveals that your spirit has been undergoing a transformation that began long before you consciously noticed it. You have been healing in layers, releasing emotional fragments of the past without realizing how much they once weighed you down. Even the moments you thought were setbacks were actually healing milestones. Those days when you felt numb, drained, or overwhelmed were not signs of weakness. They were signs of your spirit excavating old wounds so your future could rest on clean emotional ground. Heaven did not allow you to carry unresolved pain into your next season. That is why certain memories resurfaced, why certain patterns intensified, and why certain emotions demanded your attention. Not to break you, but to free you. Michael shows me an image of your heart being surrounded by light, as if heaven has been tending to it like a sacred garden. There are areas where seeds of hope were planted that have not yet sprouted, but their roots have grown deep. There are areas where old weeds of pain have been removed, creating room for new growth to flourish. Your heart is not the same heart you had at the beginning of the year. It is stronger, softer, wiser, and more aligned than ever before. And this transformation of the heart is the hidden blessing that has shaped all the others that are now approaching. Heaven has also been expanding your spiritual sensitivity. You may have noticed moments where you could feel someone's energy more clearly, or sense someone's intentions without them speaking. You may have had sudden intuitive insights or subtle guidance nudging you away from certain choices. Michael says this heightened awareness is not accidental. It is preparation. Heaven is equipping you to walk into a season where discernment is essential. Your ability to sense truth, recognize alignment, and identify spiritual shifts will become one of your greatest strengths in the coming year. What once confused you will become clear. What once deceived you will no longer have power over you. Michael then reveals another hidden blessing, your capacity to receive. He shows me that in past seasons, even when blessings approached you, part of your spirit held back. Past hurt created hesitation. Old disappointments created fear. Doubt made you question whether you deserved good things or whether good things would last. This fear did not come from your true identity. It came from past wounds. But heaven hath been healing that fear. You are now stepping into a season where your heart is open enough to accept what heaven hath been wanting to give you for years. Your receiving capacity has expanded. Your worthiness has awakened. Your trust has deepened. Michael says something profoundly moving here. Their spirit is now ready for the blessing that has always been ready for them. The miracle you are approaching is not delayed. It is timed. Heaven waited for the moment where you could hold it without shrinking, doubting, or sabotaging it. That moment is now. Another hidden blessing Michael reveals is the strengthening of your voice. This year has challenged you to speak truth in ways you never had to before. You were pushed to confront what you once avoided, to express boundaries you once concealed, to admit emotions you once buried. These moments were not confrontations, they were awakenings. Your voice has gained authority. You no longer speak from fear but from clarity. You no longer about for this to, for feeling, for no overgrow. You have stepped into a new level of spiritual authority, and heaven has taken notice. Michael also shows me that the hidden blessing of divine alignment is coming into full effect. Certain connections that fell away did so because they were misaligned with your destiny. Certain opportunities closed because they were too small for where you are headed. Certain desires shifted because heaven was repositioning your heart for greater possibilities. What once felt like rejection was redirection. What once felt like confusion was protection. What once felt like loneliness was preparation. These alignments were happening quietly, but now they are about to become visible. There is another revelation. Heaven has preserved something specifically for you. A provision, a connection, an opportunity, or a breakthrough that no one else could take, claim, or interfere with. It has been held in spiritual reserve, waiting for this exact season. Michael says, no one can touch what has been sealed for them. This blessing has your name imprinted on it. It has been guarded. It hath been shielded. It hath been waiting for your readiness. Heaven also wants you to know that the strength you gain this year is not temporary. It is permanent. You will not return to old versions of yourself. You will not slip back into old wounds or old patterns. You have crossed a spiritual threshold, and there is no going back. Michael affirms, they have ascended. You may not fully feel this yet, but soon your external life will reflect the internal elevation you have achieved. Before the next message unfolds, breathe deeply and stay with this truth. The blessing forming behind every struggle is now ready to emerge. Michael is preparing to reveal the moment it will manifest and the sign that will confirm it. Type I receive what has been prepared for me in the comments if your spirit recognizes this message. Blessing code 9011 has now been released. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now steps forward with a revelation that touches the very edge of your destiny, the moment where the unseen becomes seen and the hidden blessing begins to break through the surface of your life. He shows me that you are entering a spiritual crescendo, a point where everything that has been building in silence is preparing to burst into visibility. What you are approaching is not a gentle shift, not a subtle nudge, but a divine unveiling. Michael says, tell them the moment they have prayed for is closer than their breath. This means the transformation long whispered to your spirit is not coming from a distance. It is rising from beneath your feet, from within your atmosphere, from the fabric of your unfolding timeline. Michael reveals that heaven has orchestrated a convergence, a sacred merging of timing, healing, alignment, and divine favor. This convergence is rare, powerful, and unmistakable. It does not happen often in a lifetime, but when it does, It realigns destinies, reshapes futures, and accelerates every blessing connected to your purpose. You have reached such a convergence, and this is why your spirit feels an unfamiliar tension. It is not anxiety. It is anticipation from the soul level. Something within you knows that the old chapter is dissolving, the old cycle is breaking, and the old version of you is completing its assignment. He shows me a symbolic scene. You are standing before a large, ancient door glowing with gold light. This door represents your New Year's Eve transformation, but it also represents something deeper, your next identity. You have knocked on this door many times through your prayers, your longings, your growth, and your endurance. But Michael says, they are not knocking anymore. The door is unlocking from the inside. This indicates that what once seemed distant or blocked is now opening effortlessly because heaven has declared it is time. Heaven has already initiated the unlocking process. You may begin to notice unusual synchronicities, repeating numbers, unexpected encounters, or sudden shifts in your perception. These are indicators that the spiritual realm is preparing your path. Michael wants you to understand that nothing about this moment is accidental. Everything is intentional. Every experience, every release, every emotional shift, every moment of silence, every internal awakening has been guiding you here. Michael also reveals that your energy is changing. The frequency of your spirit has risen so significantly that you are no longer compatible with environments, people, or habits that once felt normal. You might notice that small talk drains you, negativity irritates you, chaos unsettles you, and shallow connections no longer satisfy you. This is because your spirit has elevated. You are not meant to remain where you once were. You have stepped into higher spiritual territory, and your environment is adjusting to your new frequency. Another profound revelation emerges. Heaven has been preparing to bring clarity into an area of your life that has felt confusing for too long. Whether it is love, finances, direction, purpose, or healing, this clarity will come swiftly and unexpectedly. Michael shows me that when this clarity arrives, it will feel like a weight dropping from your shoulders. You will not question it. You will not doubt it. You will simply know. This is divine confirmation, not human reasoning. He also shows me that your intuition is about to become louder. What once felt like a whisper will become a guiding voice. What once felt subtle will become obvious. You are entering a season of spiritual sensitivity where heaven's signals will be unmistakable. You may experience vivid dreams, sudden insights, emotional breakthroughs, or moments of spiritual warmth that feel like angelic presence. Michael says these experiences are not imagination. They are preparation. Here is another secret he reveals. The blessing coming to you as a ripple effect. It will not only shift your life, but will impact those connected to your destiny. Some blessings are personal. Some blessings are generational. What you are stepping into carries generational weight. Your elevation will lift others. Your healing will heal others. Your clarity will awaken others. Your breakthrough will open doors for others. Michael says, tell them they are becoming a vessel of transformation. Heaven is not blessing you for you alone. Heaven is blessing you through you. But Michael wants you to be aware of one more thing. Right before a breakthrough, the enemy often attempts a final distraction. It may come as doubt, sudden chaos, resurfacing memories, or emotional turbulence. Do not be alarmed by this. It is the final flicker of a dying cycle. The darkness loses power the moment your transformation begins activating. You are not being tested, you are being transitioned. Now Michael leans in with a message that shakes the atmosphere. Tell them the next shift will be unmistakable. They will not have to guess. They will not have to question. They will not have to force. The blessing will find them. You are stepping into a season where blessings are drawn to your spirit, where alignment becomes natural, where you no longer chase what is meant to belong to you. Heaven is arranging encounters, preparing opportunities, guiding conversations, and aligning moments that will open doors you once thought were closed. The hidden blessing is this: things will begin to happen quickly. Doors will open suddenly. People will show up unexpectedly. Answers will arrive instantly. Your spirit is entering divine acceleration. And once acceleration begins, nothing will slow it down. Before the next revelation unfolds, allow your heart to steady itself. What Michael will reveal next concerns the exact energetic shift that will signal your transformation has begun. Type "I welcome my divine elevation" in the comments if your spirit is receiving this. Blessing code 6641 is now activated. Like, share, comment, and subscribe so this prophetic message can reach those who feel lost, alone, and disconnected from hope. Your engagement is part of the light that heaven is spreading through this mission. There is a holy urgency in the air, and if these words are stirring your spirit, then understand this: when you support this work, you are helping heaven reach souls standing on the edge of their own breakthrough. This mission is not about growing a channel. It is about awakening destinies. The Spirit says, when you sow into my message, you release light into places where darkness has lived too long. This is the moment where your heart aligns with God's call to spread His voice across nations. When you give through Super Thanks membership, with a PayPal link in the description, your seed becomes a divine instrument that carries healing into the lives of others. Every offering is recorded in heaven, and every giver is blessed with multiplied grace. Stand boldly in this moment, for heaven honors those who join its work with faith and intention. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now moves into one of the deepest revelations yet, and he is asking you to prepare your spirit for what is unfolding. He shows me that the transformation approaching you is not merely a shift in circumstances. It is a shift in spiritual authority. You are stepping out of a season where life happened to you, and into a season where life begins responding to you. This is elevation in its purest form, the kind that changes not just your external world but the very posture of your soul. Michael says, tell them they are rising into their true power. This rise has been subtle, quiet, almost invisible at times, but heaven has seen every step of it. Michael reveals that your spirit is now carrying a new weight, a new light, a new resonance. This is why people have reacted differently to you recently. Some have been drawn to you without understanding why. Others have pulled away without explanation. Some have admired you silently, while others may have mirrored discomfort or envy. This is because your energy has outgrown the energetic agreements of your past. You are no longer the version of yourself who tolerated what was misaligned. Your elevation is causing spiritual separation from anything not meant to accompany you into the new cycle. He shows me that you have walked through a period of internal refinement, a cleansing of the heart and the mind that heaven initiated long before you recognized it. You have been shedding old self-doubt, releasing outdated identities, and surrendering limiting beliefs that once shaped your choices. Even the moments when you felt emotionally fragile were part of this purification. Michael says, the breaking they felt was the breaking of spiritual chains, not their spirit. The heaviness that once sat on your chest has been dissolving because heaven has been lifting burdens you were never meant to carry into the new year. There is a revelation He places before you now, one that sits at the heart of your transformation. You are entering a season of spiritual inheritance. This means you are stepping into blessings that were always meant for you, but could only be released when your spirit reached a certain maturity. Some blessings require strength. Some require clarity. Some require identity. Heaven waited for you to become solid in who you are before releasing what belongs to you. And now you are ready. Michael shows me a scroll unfurling in light, and on this scroll are promises heaven made concerning your life. Promises of restoration, promises of breakthrough, promises of alignment, promises of divine opportunity. These promises have not been forgotten, delayed, or denied. They have been reserved. Michael says, tell them heaven does not forget what it has written. You are approaching the moment where these promises begin to materialize in rapid sequence. He also reveals an energetic shift that will mark the beginning of your transformation. You will suddenly feel a deep inner certainty, a knowing that does not come from logic but from spirit. It may arrive while you are resting, thinking, walking, or doing something ordinary. This inner certainty will feel like a gentle but undeniable activation. Your chest may feel lighter. Your breath may deepen. Your mind may quiet. Your spirit will say, without words, it has begun. When this moment comes, trust it. It is the signal that heaven has initiated your next chapter. But Michael also wants to address something tender within you, the fear of repeating old patterns. He sees the part of you that wonders whether the new season will somehow turn into the old one, whether past pain will follow you, whether old disappointments will echo into your future. He speaks gently yet firmly. Tell them the old cycle has closed. It cannot follow them. The transformation you are entering is sealed. Heaven has shut the door behind your past. What is ahead will not resemble what is behind. Heaven is also aligning your relationships. People who resonate with your new identity will begin appearing. Conversations will feel deeper, more aligned, more purposeful. Connections will feel like destiny rather than coincidence. And those who are not aligned will naturally drift away without conflict. Michael says this is divine filtering. You are being surrounded by souls who support your elevation, not your stagnation. Another revelation emerges. Your ability to manifest is about to accelerate. Your thoughts will carry more weight. Your intentions will travel faster. Your decisions will generate quicker results. This is because your spirit is no longer fragmented. It is unified, aligned, and strengthened. Heaven responds more quickly to a unified spirit than a divided one. Michael says, tell them to think with clarity, speak with intention, and move with purpose, for their words and thoughts now shape their reality more rapidly. He also reveals that the confusion you once felt around your purpose is lifting. You will begin to feel drawn toward something specific, an idea, a calling, a project, a person, or a direction that pulls at your spirit with unusual force. Follow that pull. It is the breadcrumb trail of destiny. Heaven guides you not through pressure but through resonance. What feels alive, what expands your soul, what awakens your curiosity, that is the path. And now Michael gives a final message for this section. Tell them the breakthrough they are waiting for is waiting for their arrival. This means your transformation is positioned, is ready, is anchored. You are not chasing it. You are walking into it. Each day, each hour, each moment is bringing you closer to a divinely timed unveiling that will shift everything. Hold steady, beloved. What Michael reveals next will show you the emotional and spiritual sign that will appear right before your miracle manifests. Type I rise into what is mine in the comments if this message resonates in your spirit. Lesson code 4470 is now activated. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now steps into an even deeper dimension of this unfolding message, and the energy surrounding this revelation is unlike anything that has been spoken yet. He shows me that you are approaching an emotional and spiritual threshold, one that marks the moment just before your miracle manifests. This threshold is delicate, powerful, sacred, and unmistakable. He calls it the trembling of the soul, the moment when your spirit senses the arrival of what your mind cannot yet comprehend. Michael says, "Tell them the heart knows before the eyes see." And this next phase of your journey will be marked by a shift that you will feel in the very center of your being. Michael reveals that right before a breakthrough, the soul experiences a final clearing. This is why you may recently have felt a strange mixture of hope and exhaustion, peace and vulnerability, anticipation and uncertainty. These emotions are not contradictions, they are indicators. Your inner world is releasing the very last residue of the old cycle. You are shedding emotional layers that no longer serve the identity you are stepping into. Heaven will not allow you to carry unnecessary weight into the season prepared for you. This final emotional release may feel like sudden tears, unexpected reflection, or moments of deep quiet. Do not mistake these sensations as weakness. Michael says, "It is the soul making space for the miracle." He then shows me a vision of your heart glowing like a lantern, expanding with light. This expansion is happening because you are being prepared to hold something larger than what you once believed you were capable of receiving. Your capacity for joy is increasing. Your capacity for clarity is increasing. Your capacity for love, peace, abundance, and purpose is increasing. A miracle coming to you requires a heart that can hold it without collapsing into fear or doubt. Heaven has spent months strengthening you from the inside out so that when this blessing arrives, you will not sabotage it or question if you are worthy of it. Michael reveals another emotional sign that your transformation is near. Old fears will briefly resurface, not to torment you, but to show you they no longer have power over you. You may feel a faint echo of a fear you once battled, a worry about the future, a memory of rejection, a concern about not being enough. But this echo will feel different this time. It will feel small, hollow, powerless. This is because heaven is giving you a final glimpse of the chains that once held you, only to show you that they can no longer bind you. The fear is fading because your spirit has outgrown it. He also shows me that your heart is being tuned, like an instrument, to recognize what is meant for you. What once confused you will soon become clear. What once felt complicated will simplify. What once felt distant will draw near. Heaven is aligning your inner world so you can discern what belongs in your life and what never did. This clarity is a gift, and it is one of the final signs before your breakthrough fully materializes. Michael reveals a powerful truth about your emotional landscape, the reason you have felt a sudden urge to isolate yourself, rest more, or withdraw from noise and chaos is because your spirit is rising into higher alignment. You are not withdrawing from the world, you are recalibrating. You are making room for the divine shift. He says, your spirit is quieting so they can hear the next instruction. When heaven prepares to speak direction, it first quiets the soul. This is why you may feel less drawn to distractions, shallow conversations, or meaningless noise. Your inner ear is tuning to heaven's frequency. Another sign Michael reveals is an unexpected wave of confidence that may rise within you out of nowhere. It will appear suddenly, perhaps in a moment when you are least expecting it. This confidence will feel pure, grounded, and unfamiliar. Not arrogance, not hype, but a deep-rooted sense of I am ready. When this moment of inner assurance arrives, know that your spirit has recognized its alignment with destiny. Your breakthrough is not coming from outside you. It is emerging from within you. Michael also speaks of a subtle emotional sign that you may experience soon, the feeling of being on the edge of something without knowing exactly what it is. This sensation is not anxiety, it is spiritual proximity. Heaven is drawing your breakthrough closer to you by the hour, and your spirit can feel the arrival of what your mind has not yet seen. This anticipation is heaven whispering, "Stay awake. Stay open. Stay expectant." He reveals that your soul is being prepared to receive good news. For years, you have known how to handle disappointment, how to endure waiting, how to survive storms. But receiving joy, true joy, requires a different readiness. Heaven is preparing you to experience a blessing without fear of losing it, without minimizing it, without questioning it. This readiness is an emotional sign that the miracle is near. Michael then unveils something extraordinary. Heaven is orchestrating a moment where your spirit and your blessing will intersect in divine timing. This moment will not feel forced. It will not feel rushed. It will unfold naturally, gracefully, unquestionably aligned. You will look back and realize heaven prepared every detail, every encounter, every shift leading to it. The emotional sign you will feel right before this moment is a wave of calm so deep that it will silence every doubt inside you. This calm is the soul's recognition of arrival. He says, "Tell them their heart is learning the language of destiny." The emotions you feel now are not random. They are preparation. Your heart is being rewired to embrace what is coming instead of fearing it. Before the next revelation unfolds, let your spirit rest in this truth. You are not waiting for transformation. Transformation is waiting for you to recognize its footsteps. The next message Michael brings will reveal the physical signs that accompany the moment your breakthrough activates. Type "My heart opens to the NEW" in the comments if this part touches your spirit. Blessing code 2294 is now released. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now lifts the veil on the physical signs that begin to appear when your breakthrough is not just approaching, but actively unfolding. These signs are not coincidences, not random moments, not mere curiosities. They are divine markers placed along your path to reassure you that heaven is moving in real time. Michael says, "Tell them when the spiritual realm shifts, the physical world responds." This is the part of your journey where the invisible begins to press into the visible, where what was once sensed only in the heart begins to echo through your surroundings. Michael first shows me that your physical environment will begin to change in subtle but meaningful ways. You may feel an unexpected urge to declutter, rearrange, clean, or refresh your space. This is not simply a desire for order. It is your spirit preparing a new atmosphere for the blessing that is entering your life. The physical world mirrors spiritual readiness. When your spirit begins expanding, the space around you must be cleared to match that expansion. Michael says, their home becomes a reflection of their inner elevation. So if you feel inspired to tidy, cleanse, or reorganize, know that heaven is aligning your outer world with your internal transformation. Another sign appears in your physical interactions. You may notice that conversations feel different. Some people begin treating you with unexpected respect. Others may grow distant without explanation. Some will suddenly seek your presence or counsel. The shift is not about human behavior alone. It is spiritual resonance. Michael explains that when your frequency rises, those aligned with your path are drawn to you naturally, while those misaligned drift away. Your elevation creates a spiritual sorting, gentle, unquestioned, seamless. He also reveals that you may experience sudden bursts of energy or sudden waves of fatigue. These fluctuations are not random. They occur because your body is adjusting to the heightened spiritual energy surrounding you. When heaven accelerates your timeline, your physical body must recalibrate. You may feel unusually awake in the early hours, or deeply tired at unexpected times. Michael says, tell them their body is synchronizing with destiny. This synchronization ensures that when your breakthrough arrives, you are physically present, emotionally grounded, and spiritually centered. Michael shows me another striking sign. Your physical senses will sharpen. Colors may seem brighter. Sounds may feel clearer. Nature may feel more alive. You may find yourself noticing patterns, symbols, or signs in the world around you with unusual clarity. This heightened awareness is your spirit perceiving beyond the ordinary. It is the merging of spiritual sight with physical senses. He says the veil is thinning for them. This thinning allows you to perceive guidance, presence, and alignment more easily than ever before. He reveals something profound. Unexpected blessings will begin appearing in small forms before the large one arrives. These may include small breakthroughs, unexpected opportunities, random acts of kindness, financial surprises, reconnections, or moments of deep peace that appear without cause. These small blessings are the first drops of the rainstorm heaven is preparing. Michael says, "Tell them the small signs are the first strokes of the greater miracle." When these small blessings appear, take them as confirmation that the spiritual atmosphere around you is shifting. Another physical sign emerges through timing. You may notice things unfolding with precision. You arrive somewhere at the exact moment you needed to. You receive a message just when you were thinking of something. You cross paths with someone at the exact right time. Heaven begins to choreograph your steps with flawless alignment. This synchronization is not coincidence. It is divine timing activated. Michael says destiny walks with them now. When timing becomes too perfect to ignore, your breakthrough is already in motion. He also reveals that your inner voice, your intuition, will become more physically felt. You may feel sensations in your chest, warmth in your hands, a pulling in your stomach, or a tingling near your crown when something aligned is approaching. Your body becomes a vessel of spiritual communication. Heaven speaks through sensation as clearly as through signs. When you feel a sudden stillness, a sudden yes, a sudden no, a sudden sense of caution, or a sudden expansion, trust it. These are divine instructions encoded into physical feeling. Then Michael shows me an even more significant sign: divine interruptions. Plans may suddenly shift. Something unexpected may cancel. A conversation may take a surprising turn. You may be redirected from one path to another without warning. These interruptions are not obstacles. They are routing. Heaven is removing friction from your path and guiding you toward the exact moment your breakthrough will meet you. He says they must trust the detours. Every detour is protection. Another physical sign emerges in your emotional environment. You may notice increased sensitivity to negativity or chaos. Things you once tolerated now feel draining. Environments you once endured now feel uncomfortable. Your spirit is refusing to return to the vibration it has outgrown. Your body reacts to conflict or misalignment instantly because heaven is now conditioning you for peace. Michael says their elevation rejects what is beneath them. He reveals one final sign in this sacred part of the message: you will begin to feel physically lighter. Not in weight, but in presence. A heaviness will lift from your shoulders. Your breath will deepen. Your steps will feel steadier. Your posture may shift. This is spiritual lightness manifesting in the physical body. It marks the moment when the breakthrough has moved from potential into activation. Michael concludes this revelation with a powerful truth: tell them the physical world is bending in their favor. Your transformation is not just spiritual, it is becoming tangible. Before we enter the next message, prepare your heart. Michael will reveal the moment your blessing becomes irreversible. Type "I see the signs of my breakthrough" in the comments if this resonates with your spirit. Blessing code 5033 is now activated. Beloved soul, Archangel Michael now brings you into the final and most important revelation of this entire message: the moment where all pathways converge and your New Year's Eve transformation becomes fully activated. He shows me a scene unlike any before, your spirit standing at the intersection of destiny and divine timing. Heaven has been preparing this moment long before you even knew you would need it. Michael says, tell them this is the hour where everything shifts. This is not symbolic. This is not poetic. This is literal. This is spiritual truth, becoming physical reality. Michael reveals that the breakthrough you are stepping into has reached a point of no return. The blessing that has been forming, structuring, lining, and maturing behind the veil has now crossed into a state he calls irreversible manifestation. This means nothing can stop it. Nothing can delay it. Nothing can interfere with it. Not doubt, not fear, not uncertainty, not past cycles, not spiritual resistance. Heaven has sealed this transformation. It has been authorized, approved, and released. He shows me a vision of a seal of light being pressed over your timeline. This seal represents divine finality. It is heaven's way of saying, it is done. The moment this seal appears, the spiritual realm shifts its posture. Angels no longer prepare, they execute. Blessings no longer wait, they descend. Paths no longer form, they open. And your soul no longer wanders, it steps forward with certainty. Michael says, tell them heaven has moved. Now the earth will follow. At this stage of your transformation, there is often a moment of deep stillness, like the quiet right before dawn breaks. You may feel this stillness now, or you may feel it in the coming days. It is not emptiness, it is completion. The spiritual work has already been finished. What remains is the unveiling. This stillness is heaven holding its breath in anticipation of your transformation becoming visible. Michael reminds you, when the world seems quiet, heaven is moving most violently. He also reveals that in this final stretch before your breakthrough appears, you will notice a heightened awareness in your spirit. You may feel as though you are standing on the edge of something extraordinary. This feeling is not coincidence, it is spiritual proximity. Breakthroughs have an energetic signature, and you are close enough now to sense its vibration. The shift happening around you is not imagination. It is your spirit brushing against the reality of what you are about to step into. Michael then unveils one of the most beautiful truths of this entire message. Your transformation is not just a change of your circumstances. It is the fulfilling of a promise. A promise heaven made to your soul before you took your first breath. A promise written into your destiny long before you prayed for it. A promise that felt delayed only because your spirit needed time to grow into the version of you that can carry it. He says, tell them they are walking into what has always belonged to them. Another powerful revelation. Your blessing is arriving in a way that feels personal, precise, and unmistakably tailored to your soul's journey. It will not come in a form that confuses you or causes doubt. When it arrives, it will feel like recognition. It will feel like relief. It will feel like alignment. It will feel like the missing piece finally sliding into place. You will not have to convince yourself that it is from heaven. Your entire spirit will know. Michael shows that your story is entering a redemptive arc. What felt stolen will be restored. What felt wasted will be redeemed. What felt forgotten will be remembered. What felt broken will be rebuilt. Heaven wastes nothing. Everything you endured this year, every tear, every silence, every unanswered question, every disappointment, was shaping you, preparing you, lining you for this arrival. But he also reveals that your transformation is not simply about receiving. It is about becoming. You are stepping into a version of yourself who is not afraid anymore. A version who is grounded, intuitive, bold, discerning, peaceful, and spiritually attuned. A version who knows their worth without seeking external validation. A version who walks with authority because they understand heaven stands behind them. Michael says, the miracle will change their circumstances, but the transformation will change their identity. Then comes the moment Michael has been waiting to reveal. He shows me that the final sign your breakthrough is activated is when your spirit begins to feel an unfamiliar confidence, soft, steady, unquestioned. You will feel it rise within you like a dawn that cannot be stopped. This confidence is not self-made, it is heaven-given. It arrives when your blessing has moved from potential into manifestation. When you feel this shift, know the miracle is stepping into your reality. Michael closes this message with a declaration over your life. Tell them the old year will not follow them into the new one. Tell them they cross into promise. Heaven is calling you forward. Your story is ascending. Your atmosphere is shifting. Your spirit is ready. And the miracle arrives in the final moments, where heaven always loves to reveal itself. Type "I cross into my miracle" in the comments if your spirit receives this. Blessing code 9910 is now activated. Like, share, comment, and subscribe so this prophetic mission can pour into countless souls who are longing for hope, direction, and divine clarity. Your engagement is the wind that carries this message into hearts that desperately need it. There is a holy stirring in this moment, a divine invitation woven directly into your breakthrough. If your spirit feels the weight of this message, then hear this truth. When you choose to support this mission, you are becoming a vessel through which God reaches souls standing on the edge of awakening. The Spirit is saying, as I pour into you, pour into the work that speaks my voice. Your gift, whether through super thanks, membership, or the PayPal link in the description, becomes a seed that travels far beyond your sight, into lives, into hearts, into destinies ready to be restored. This is not donation. It is alignment. It is partnership with heaven's assignment. And I declare that every act of support released in faith will return to you in multiplied favor, protection, and breakthrough. Step boldly, for heaven is honoring you even now.